Good afternoon and welcome to the City of Rapid City's Legal and Finance Committee meeting for Wednesday, August 30th, 2017. We'd like to start with a roll call and determination of quorum. Please, Stacy. Here. Thank you. Now's the time to adopt today's agenda. Is there any seated committee member that would like to add, modify, or remove any items off of today's agenda? This is a time to modify the agenda itself. Do I see anybody? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Drury to adopt today's agenda as presented, second by Laurenti. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Today's agenda has been adopted. Now is the time for general public comment. This is a time for any member in the audience to address the seated committee members on any item currently not on the agenda. I don't have a speaker request form from anyone. Am I missing anyone who wants to address the committee today on any item not on the agenda? Seeing none, we're going to move on to consent items, public comment. I do not have any speaker request forms. Well, I should say, nope, that one I think is off the consent calendar, and it's simply for answering questions. I currently have no speaker request forms for consent items. Today's consent items are items 1 through 9. Public comment? Public comment is now closed. Now's the time for the committee members to pull any items that they would like to be considered individually. The chair recognizes Alderwoman Drury. Thank you. Chair recognizes Alderman Laurenti. Thank you. Seeing no further lights, I'll entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 9, except item number 3 and item number 6.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Laurenti to approve items 1 through 9, except item number 3 and item number 6. Second by Drury. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'm sure there'll be more discussion on Tuesday night. Just a reminder to everyone, council meeting is on Tuesday night because Monday's a holiday. On to item number 3. Item number 3 is to acknowledge the July 2017 general fund cash balance report. Boy, I can't talk today. Chair recognizes Alderwoman Drury. Yes, you may.
Pauline, I'm looking at the general fund cash balance that was presented, and since I'm unfamiliar with some of the happenings in the budget, it's my understanding that, well, right now we have $4 million in the negative, but I understand that we will be having more money come in from the county. Can you explain that to me, please?
Sure. There's a couple things that actually are attributing to that, what's showing as a negative amount. In July, we only received one sales tax payment. And so in August, the first payment that we received was over $2 million. That typically would have been recognized in July. But because of timing differences, it came in the beginning of August instead. The county, we get our property taxes from the county twice a year, basically, the largest chunks. So when you go pay your property taxes, they're due in April and in October. And so we actually get those payments in May and November. And they're right around half. Again, not everybody pays timely, and so we do get a little bit here and there throughout the year, but the majority of it comes to us in May and November, which is, it helps us at the end of the year with our cash balance. Now, why it's showing a negative, even if we didn't use the designated amount of almost $7 million in July, it would still show a negative. And again, a lot of that is the timing issue on the sales tax. Generally speaking, though, so the reserves is what is set by ordinance. It's 15% of our general fund expenses less capital outlay type expenditures. The designated is what we have allocated through either the budget process, the original budget allocation or the supplemental appropriations, saying we're paying for this service or this expense through the cash in the account. When we start that we have some that are carryover. So right now, I could not tell you without any doubt that we haven't spent any of that. More than likely, that $3.7 million that's sitting in undesignated, some of that has already been spent, but because we can't pinpoint exactly what has already been purchased from that, as far as the carryovers are concerned, it's difficult to give you a true picture of where we're at with undesignated cash, other than the first of the year and the end of the year, because that's when nothing's been paid or everything reverts back to undesignated cash at the last day of the year. So I don't know if that helped you or made it muddier.
Well, it certainly helps. So is there any kind of estimate in it after we get the tax money in November where we'll be sitting?
I have not done a November estimate. I've only done an estimate as of the end of the year based on conversations that the mayor had with some of the department directors on what they think it will be unspent cash, and based on, or unspent budget authority, and based on that, we're looking about 1.5 million of undesignated cash at the end of the year, but I have not sat down and looked at a November timeframe when we get our second half of the property taxes.
Okay, thank you, Pauline.
I've got a motion by Lewis to approve item number 3. I've got a second by Armstrong. Any further discussion? For clarification, it's approving an acknowledgement of the cash fund balance. So that was the discussion up here with no microphone. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6 is to authorize the mayor and finance officer to sign the lease agreement between the City of Rapid City and the Black Hills Visitor Information Corporation. Chair recognizes Alderman Laurenti.
Thank you, Chair. We have a representative here from the visitor. If you could come up to the podium, please.
And as you approach the podium, if you wouldn't mind just stating your name and your affiliation for the record, please. Thank you.
Is it on? Yes. I'm Michelle Thompson. I'm the president with Black Hills and Badlands Tourism Association, and we manage the Black Hills Visitor Information Center.
Thank you, Michelle. My question for you is, in the new lease, there was some changes to allowing your association to move its offices there. Does the association have offices in another building currently?
No, we've always been housed out of the Visitor Information Center since they opened.
So I'm trying to understand then, maybe this is something the city attorney can clarify why we're making a change to allow it when it apparently wasn't allowed prior to this new lease agreement.
Is this related to a name change?
No. We kept the Black Hills Visitor Information Center Corporation, Development Corporation, with DBA Black Hills Badlands Tourism Association. The old lease just didn't specifically state that Black Hills Badlands Tourism Association offices, administrative offices were within the building, but it's always been that way since we opened.
So you're just trying to clarify what the reality has been.
Correct.
So the lease, if you can, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate your input there. Jared, if you would, please, could you come to the podium? Wade, sorry. Who am I thinking? I don't know who's Jared. I have no idea. I think it's the guy with Subway, right?
Yeah, I'm not that.
You don't work for Subway, correct?
No.
I had to make a joke of it. I have no idea where I got the name. So, Wade, thank you, sir. If you would, can you tell me why this was added as a change to the lease?
Yeah, I just wanted to note that was one of the changes. The business offices have always been there, and so the use in the old lease didn't include that. So I just wanted to include it to cover that.
And the lease didn't bar such an activity, the previous lease?
It just didn't address it.
Okay, so it's just making it, it's formalizing the acknowledgement of that.
It's really clean up, yes.
Okay, very good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I currently have no motion on the floor for item number 6.
Second.
I've got a motion by Lewis to approve item number 6, a second by Laurenti. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're now on to non-consent public comment. I currently have no speaker request forms for non-consent items. Non-consent items today are items 10 through 12. Am I missing anyone for public comment on items 10 through 12? Seeing none, we're going to close public comment and we're going to go on to the non-consent items. Item number 10 is to approve resolution number 2017-080, a resolution of intent to take the statutory authorized increase in property tax revenue, also known as the CPI, Consumer Price Index, as part of the annual appropriation ordinance for 2018 fiscal year. Chair, I've got a motion by Lewis to approve. Second. I've got a second by Armstrong. Chair recognizes Alderman Laurenti.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to reserve most of my comments for Tuesday night, but I just wanted to say one thing before I vote against this item, is that unfortunately the public hasn't had the opportunity to weigh in on this throughout the entire budget hearings, because I believe, and this is my opinion, that our media has abdicated its responsibilities to report to the people that their property taxes are about to be raised by the city, despite the fact that our tax revenues have gone up a total of 45% over the last 10 years. And at a minimum, the media should be telling the people, which is what this government serves, about that, so that they can then lobby their elected representatives and a wise decision can be made by this body. I yield.
Thank you. I currently have a motion on the floor to approve item number 10 and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Are you voting aye? Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Here. So this motion is denied with a recommendation sent to council to deny this 3-2. The 2 affirmative votes were Lewis and Armstrong. The 3 negative votes were Laurenti, Drury, and Scott. We're moving on to item number 11. Item number 11 is the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 6189 regarding the supplemental appropriation number 3 for the fiscal year 2017. Any discussion?
Second.
I've got a motion by Lewis to approve, second by Laurenti. No discussion. I did have a couple questions on this, more of highlighting some opinions. I will reserve my comments till Tuesday night city council meeting, since we've already got a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12 is the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 6195, an ordinance to change the allocation of the revenue raised by the retail occupational sales and service tax by amending section 3.16.060 and section 3.16090 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. And just for clarification, this is actually an ordinance change reallocating the 2 pennies. I know that's a really long title, so just so the media and everybody knows, this is the change that the City Council in the budget hearings asked staff to bring forward that actually readdresses the allocation of the 2 pennies of sales tax amongst the Vision Fund, CIP Fund, and the General Fund. Chair would like to recognize Alderman Lewis.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm not going to be voting for this if it goes for an approval, but I just want to I'll reserve my grandstanding for Monday night, but I just want to let everybody know that, or Tuesday night, excuse me, that I feel like I have no problem with adding more money to the CIP, excuse me, but I prefer that we keep the Vision funds at the current levels. I'll probably go farther into that Tuesday night. Thank you.
Any further comments? Yes, I believe this will get a more rounded discussion come Monday night when we have all 10 council members available. Seeing no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I've got a motion to approve by Laurenti. I've got a second by Drury. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Our recommendation to council is for approval with 1 no from Alderman Lewis. Those are the items on today's consent calendar. Stay tuned and tune in Tuesday night. I think you'll have a much more interesting conversation going on. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Got a motion by Armstrong to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Drury. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.